Right, welcome back to the channel. We got Michael's Volt in here for an axle change on the driver's side. Michael, what year is this?
2015.
All right, 2015 Chevy Volt. So he's got a clicking coming from the front end, which is common on these cars to be the axles going out. We've already replaced the passenger side last time, and he's done the driver's side quite a while ago, but it's clicking again. So we'll walk through how to pop this out.
Save you $500.
And put the new one in. Which we got over here. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so first thing we'll do, we'll pull the axle nut off, which is a 32mm socket. Remove our strut bolts there, which are 18s. And then we should be able to pull this down. And if you can get white in there, let me see. Yeah, that works. Should be able to pop the axle out with a pry bar. You just got to pop it past the C-clip, and we should be able to pull it out without removing anything else.
Gunshot?
Yeah. Alright, did that a little differently. Just hit it from the back side with a long pry bar and a hammer.
It came off that easily?
Yep.
That was a lot better than the passenger side.
I probably should have pulled it. No, pull it out of this first, though. Some more in there.
Oh yeah, save that. That doesn't come with a new one. We had to do that on the other side.
There it is. Yeah, so all I did is I came from the back side with the pry bar, set it up right there, and just hit it with the hammer to pop it out. Alright, let me see the light. Oh, if you can see very well. There's a little seat clip and a groove in there. That's what holds the axle in. So that's the resistance you have. Alright, so new part. It's NCV 10310. Looks like there's a shim on the front end. Okay. It's got to be reused. That the new one does not come with. And then also looks like got to pull this dust boot off of this one as well.
You could just leave it laid on the side and do it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we got our little dust cover on. I had to use a pipe to push it on evenly over the fit. So if you have like a big socket or a pipe, that'll work. We also have this little shim that goes on the front. So we're reusing that. And so basically reverse process. We'll just push it in there. And the C-clip, you should feel the C-clip engage. So once you push it in there, the C-clip should engage. And we'll be able to swing it around, maneuver it back into our hub. And then push the hub back up and put the bolts in the strut. Goes. That's it. I kind of use that axle as a slide hammer to pop it in, and you'll feel it go all the way back, and it'll hit a stopping point once it's all the way in. So swing that guy up front. Twist our strut.
You got the bolts within reach?
Yeah. Right. There. Oh yeah, there it is. I was like, I thought I had them in reach.
There we go.
And then there. All right, so before I snug those top ones up, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this in. So you definitely want to make sure your threads are engaged in there so you don't end up pulling it crooked through there. So easiest way, I mean, it'll pop in, you'll know when they're in, honestly, by feel, but put your new axle nut on there. And always start with a wrench first. That is a different size from the... And be careful, because so this new axle we got from Rock Auto, that's a 36 now. This was a 32 on the old axle. So double check your sizes too when you get new parts, because you may need a socket you don't have. Luckily I have a 36 here, so. right, Michael, you want to put some white in here?
Yeah.
All right, so the axle's seated. It's not moving in and out anymore. So we got it seated with the impact. So we'll go ahead and tighten up our strut bolts here. And then we can properly torque the axle nut. So something we wanted to point out on this car is if that can also cause the clicking noise in these cars, is if the axle is not properly torqued. These have a really, really high torque spec on them. What is it? It's
You torque it to 110, loosen it 45 degrees, then torque it to 185.
yeah. So your final torque's going to be 185 on that nut, foot-pounds. So you want to make sure you have a torque wrench big enough to do that, or an impact gun with enough power to send it. Got those tightened up. The axle sucked all the way in. We're going to go ahead and do the first round of torquing, so 110. So Michael's going to hold the brake so the wheel doesn't spin. If you don't have somebody to hold the brake, you can do a little trick using the rotor vents and putting a screwdriver in there until it the wheel spins and it holds up against the brake caliper. I've done that in the past if you're working by yourself. But we'll do it the safer way. Alright, it's our 110. So we'll go ahead and back off a quarter turn. Alright, backed off a quarter turn. Reset this to 185. Alright, 185. That's torqued. Yeah, you're good. Alright, we got torqued to 185, doing the 110 and then the quarter turn back off and then 185. Everything looks good, tight, seals good in there. Alright, we can go ahead and put the wheel back on, take it for a test drive and make sure the clicking's gone. Alright, so we're on the ground. Wheels torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Alright, so the axle's in, everything's torqued up. Michael's going to go take it for a test drive, make sure the noise is gone, and we should be good. Alright guys, that concludes the Volt video. Not much we can see out here, it's a little dark, but yep, just took it for a drive, not making any noise. So typically when the axles are going out on this, as Michael was saying, it'll make a clicking noise from acceleration and also at a stop.
It'll be a bunch of clicks.
Yeah, a bunch of clicks.
Whereas if it's the axle, it's just one click. So, and it's one click on acceleration, one click on braking. So if you brake once, it clicks, let the car coast, brake again, it's not going to click again if it's the axle. If it keeps clicking, it's the axle nut. If it keeps clicking, it's probably the CV.
Well, there you go. So the theory on this is that these are the same as like Chevy Cruze axles, and obviously it being an electric car, it's got a lot more torque, and he doesn't drive it very nice, so
keep it in sport mode.
So hopefully this will help somebody out if they have issues with their Volt, and we'll see y'all in the next one.